I'm inside and I saw Hillbilly Elegy. It is directed by Ron Howard, written by Vanessa Taylor. If you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. This is requested by Patreon. If you'd like to fast track a movie review, patreon.com/ASUpresents. On with the review. I'm currently fighting the sun. It's right behind a tree, but it's going down, so eventually it'll hit my eyes. If you see me squinting later on in the review, that's why. This movie starts and we're following JD Vance. Yes, that one. The JD Vance. This is his story. Before watching this movie, I thought, oh, he's a CIA operative. He's doing shady stuff, and now he's the vice president. Oh no, is he going to betray Donald Trump like Mike Pence did? You know, those things were going through my head when watching this movie. Further along the movie, I was like, oh, he's just kind of like a person. And by the end of the movie, I ended up liking him. So what happens in this movie? What caused me to like JD Vance? Continue watching this review. This follows his story where he takes his summers in Jackson, Kentucky, and he lives mostly in Ohio. Every summer he goes down to Kentucky. He has a chill time with his cousins. He has a huge family. This turns out to be like fights with his cousins, and I like how he narrates what his parents taught him. They're like, don't start a fight, but be the one who ends a fight. And then after that narration, he's the one who starts the fight and then does not finish the fight. This movie shows him as a kid. He's got a mother who is a nurse, and the way that this movie is told, it's through a series of flashbacks. It starts with a flashback and then shows him present day, which is in Yale. Well, present day when this movie was released was in 2020, so I guess not present day, but like 2010s, I guess, because the iPhone existed. He's at Yale. He's trying to do Yale. He's really tight for money. He's working many jobs just to get himself through Yale. He went through the military to pay for his school to get his bachelor's degree, and I think he's on his master's degree now. I can't exactly tell which path he's on. He has an undergrad degree, so is he getting his graduate's degree? I don't know how this far into the college system worked. I only got an associate's and then dropped out. A good thing I didn't complete college, because oh boy, I feel bad for people who have a lot of debt and went through college and can't find a job that pertains to the career field, especially the tech jobs, because oh boy, if I listened to my parents, they were really pushing me to do software engineering as a career path. If I listened to them, I would have been screwed right now, because nobody is getting jobs right now with college degrees. I mean, JD Vance went to college at a good time, and he worked his way up to the vice president position, so he did a lot of networking. It was a good time for him. It's not a good time to have a college degree now. So might as well just go work and work up into making a company or work underneath somebody to learn your skills, learn the skills on the job. Do it now. Anyway, shows his family. He got his grandma, he's got his grandpa, he got his mother, and he's got a couple of siblings. And what's interesting, his mother, it's shown more and more that she's kind of a loser character. Goes to the story with JD Vance. This is one of the incidents, and I'm just thinking, like, what comes to me at this moment, not exactly the timeline of this movie, but what stood out to me the most in this movie. We got his mother takes him to the trading card store, and then they're like having a we're dancing, and then JD Vance knocks down a bunch of comic books, and the store clerk was like, pick that up right now. And then he's doing it, and he's like, pick that up. He's just like, he is doing it. I agree that you shouldn't be yelling at your customers, especially if they knock something down, and doing it twice when they're clearly doing something that you asked them to do. And then you say, leave now. I'm like, well, don't you want them to pick up the stuff that they dropped, you freaking idiot? And the mother ends up stealing the trading cards that he wanted. All right, questionable character. And then the same exact card trip, she just starts babbling and then gets really emotional about something, and she's like, I was the valedictorian of my high school, ha ha ha, I'm so amazing and cool, and I'm thinking about the past and not right now, but I'm thinking about the past and how amazing I was in the past, not thinking about how much of a loser I am right now, but thinking about the past, because that's what losers do. They only think about the past, what they accomplished in the past, not right now. Right now matters more though than the past. That's what I believe in, and it seems like JD Vance comes to believe in this because he saw his mother ram up to like 65 miles per hour and then swerving through traffic. She's like, I can kill you right now. I can kill you right now. He's like, I'm gonna jump in the back seat, and then she pulls off and he runs off, and then there's this neighbor. I don't know if it's necessarily a direct neighbor, but it's definitely in the neighborhood, and she's like, like trying to possess JD Vance like he's some sort of like possession or something. Of course, the neighbor's like, don't be treating your boy like this. And that's only one of the issues. He saved her from the cops pressing charges on her. And then it's shown in present time that she started using heroin again, overdosed, and is going to go to rehab again. And so when you have the flashbacks of her being like, I'm going to do rehab, it's going to be a great time. We're going to have a time where we have a good family, we're going to cook goodly, we're going to be a happy family again. I'm never going to do this again. And then with the knowledge of her relapsing and using heroin again, I'm like, oh boy. I like the dramatic irony in this. There's also a scene I remember that really made me almost tear up. It was when the grandpa died. What really made me sad was not that, oh, he died, but it was the grandma's reaction to the grandpa's death. Because it's like, yeah, she spent so much time with him. She would be taking it the hardest. But somehow it's the mother taking it the hardest. She's like, he's my dad, he's my dad, he's my dad. And she like cut her hand. And I'm like, oh God. And she's like running out on the street. She's like, I need help, he's my dad. And then like the paramedics come and the police just take her, calm her down. Just because he's your father doesn't give you any right to react like this. Look, your mother didn't react like this, like whatsoever. She's not freaking out, having a bad time. She is just sad. And she had the closest relationship. I know he's your father and like you had a time with him, like as soon as you were born you saw him and he's like, oh my goodness, that man, my life is gone now forever. You gotta think about the grandma. She chose to be with that man and now he's gone. And she's been with him longer than you have. I'm just saying, it's perfectly valid to be sad about your father's death. But don't act like this. Don't do what she's doing. She's acting crazy. She has problems. There's also the dramatic irony of we got JD Vance in the Yale Times where he's trying to get interviews. He's at a dinner. He's at this firm's like dinner table. The partner of one of the firms, not the head honcho, but one of the partners is like, oh yeah, you gotta say like redneck and all that jazz. You're like must be from a different planet because you're in Yale. We're big and sophisticated and all those people down there in Kentucky are dumb idiots, right? And he's like, she's smarter than anyone I've ever known. And he's like defending her mother's honor. And I'm like, that is going to get you the job. And he actually gets called down for a final interview. But he's with his mom and he has to go. He has to go. He has to drive all night to even get there. And he's trying to get his mom into rehab, but his mom won't go into rehab. She's like, no, I want to be at the hotel. He leaves to get food and comes back and she's about to do some heroin and again. She's like, dude, I can't leave you here. My sister's coming. She's going to get you. JD Vance has to drive. He has to leave the mother there. There's also many memory shots of what made him great, made him good, including the grandmother taking him into the custody. He was hanging out with a lot of loser friends doing the Mary Joanna and drinking and driving and crashing cars and breaking and entering and breaking stuff. But his grandma saved him. The grandma went really hard on him. I like how the grandma, very human, is like, yeah, I'm here to like give you a future. I messed up with your mom, I'll admit that, but I'm gonna give you a future. And it's not until JD Vance overhears a conversation about there's like this meal delivery plan system that happens, and she's like, come on, I didn't pay for my pills last month. I'm really stretching it thin. And he's like, all right, the delivery man's like, I'll give you some more food. But JD Vance hears this, is like decides to just start helping out and like work harder. And I'm like, this is good. I like it. I like the motivation. He's just really into his family, and I like how at the end he gets into the interview room. And I think he gets the position. Like, that's awesome. Good on you, guy. So this movie was a successful telling of his story, his past, turmoils he dealt with, including his mom yelling at him. There's some points where the mom was starting to hit him, like right as before he left the car really early on, and like ran off into that neighbor's house, and the police got involved and everything. He has dealt with a lot. I'm like, wow, sad. But also it goes to show that he doesn't give up on family, which I do appreciate. I also like like the portrayal of him. It's a good guy. Either I'm being played or this is genuine and I can't tell it. I don't know how to feel about it. But as a story by itself, portraying this one man, I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm enjoying this. I like this story. Now it's time for color analysis. During the flashbacks, they were very warm. I would say the scenes in which they were happier moments were a lot warmer in color and in the whites used. Like you got like orange white versus blue white, which was used in like the sadder scenes. I wouldn't say there's any specific color palette, but I feel like the color temperature indicated when it was a flashback, not to mention the age of the kid in the flashback. And also I feel like the adult coloring of the shots a little bit more blue-ish, but I do like his girlfriend who turns out to be marrying him. I'm like, you guys met at Yale and she's like a sleep person. I would have to meet him in person in order to get a character gauge on him. I can't gauge somebody's character without meeting them in person. I feel like I kind of like him. If he's this guy, this is like the truest representation. He might be a guy I want to drink a beer with, you know? The characters were compelling. There were a lot of moments where I was like, man, I hate the mom. She sucks. But I understand why JD just wants to keep her safe and healthy and wants her happy because it's his mom. So I get that. I like this movie. What do you think of this movie? It's a really good story and it moved me emotionally. So I gotta give it's a strong 7.5 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another on the platform that likes at $20 Dinos, patreon.com/ASRpresents. One movie review per 1 month. Goes Linktree, supports the daily grindness of all them daily movie reviews, so go here. And until next time, in Salad Saw, I'll see you later. My salad croutons, bacon bits. Adios.